I'm going to show you how to add a diagnosis, a problem, and a procedure to the iCLIP patient record. When you basically go into the record of a patient, go to the summary view, and you can review the patient. One of the first things I like to go to is the consolidated problems list, and I can see that this patient already has some problems and diagnoses. In Cerner speak, a diagnosis is something that happens this visit, and a chronic problem is referred to as a problem. We're going to add a diagnosis and we're going to add a problem. So this patient has come in this visit with pneumonia, so I start typing pneumonia and the smart search finds pneumonia. This will automatically add pneumonia as a coded Snomed term as a discharge diagnosis to this patient. I want to add the fact that this patient has a back chronic history of COPD, so I'm going to change this visit to chronic, and then I'm going to add COPD, and again the smart search function finds the diagnosis. I have now added a diagnosis of pneumonia and a problem of COPD. I can add a note to that by hitting the pencil, or I can add in the comments box here, or I can add qualifiers to this. So as I can say, it defaults to a discharge diagnosis which is confirmed with no flag. I can add a ranking of a primary diagnosis, or I could add it as a comorbidity. In this case it's a primary diagnosis, and I can also add free text notes to the diagnosis here. I can always also add free text comments to this which will not alter the coding, so I could basically put bilateral pneumonia and it will display in the consolidated problems as bilateral pneumonia, but I'm going to leave that as pneumonia. Click OK, and that's saved. Same principle works for hitting the pencil icon on the chronic condition. I'm now going to go to procedures, and this is to add a coded procedure name or coded procedure event to this patient's record. As you can see, there's nothing documented at the moment, but I'm going to click on procedure history, and it takes me to the procedures control. I can then add a procedure, and I'm going to add a procedure that's happened during this admission. I'm going to say laparotomy, and then I hit search. Gives me a whole list of coded terms. Select the coded term that is appropriate. Click OK. I can then add laterality if relevant. I can add the name of the surgeon, my own name for reference, and then I can also put which George's location the operation was done on. I can add comments, and I can also add the age the procedure was done, or the date the procedure was done. If I then hit OK, the procedure is then entered into the record. If we go back to the summary and refresh, we now have the laparotomy appearing on the procedure history. If you hover over it, you can see that this is a